you're addicted. Addiction is a brain disease where you continue doing something. You reach a stage where you continue doing something, even when it is causing you a lot of harm or causing harm to people around you, and you lose control over that behavior. That means you continuously behave in a way that is harmful, and you cannot control it unless and until somebody brings in an intervention. And therefore, social media is a very risky uh, addiction behavior. Yeah.
I want to say, as in everything that we're also sharing here, we have to keep reminding ourselves. Our brain is just like our eyes. Hakuna siku yenye utaamka, utaki kufungua macho, utaki kuona na ikatae kuona. You'll always see. So your brain will always function like that. So you can know something, lakini ukatae kuifanya. Si ati juu sijui inafanyangwa hivi. Maybe I didn't remind myself. So everything that's there, like journaling, nitajournal leo ianze vizuri kesho. I'll have to remind myself before that I have to journal this specific time. We have to keep reminding ourselves this thing. Our brain keeps moving. Ukiangalia hivi akili yako isha process hapa. Ukiangalia hivi akili yako isha process kitu kingine. So wewe kujikumbusha values zako zitakusaidia. As we are doing, kani journaling akisema let me practice this self-care tactic. And we all have different journeys. Imagine how the world would be if sisi wote tungeenda the same direction. Hata wewe fikiria. Kila mtu angefuata maisha yako. No, the world wouldn't be even a fun place to be. So it's nice for us to celebrate our differences in unity. Like huyu ako sawa, huyu ako sawa, and everything we can continue. Also wanted to ask, say, when we are saying things because they are hard. But to say me, at sticking self-care for myself, the reason I've never done it because ni rahisi. You get? I'm saying it because it is hard for it to be done. So I must also take the initiative. Yeah. Saa zingine motivation is not habit. I can stay motivated. Hapa niko hapa, nataka kwenda gym. Mi kwa akili niko motivated. But once I take the action, sio kwanza tu kufika gym nione tu wasi wako gym tu hiyo. Itanisaidia kupush. Sasa zingine we look for motivation sana. Unatafuta, I want to start something. Unataka ungoje sana hadi ufike mahali. You can just start by the action itself. Na in a type of way the world will guide the energy. Itakuja ieke away to the same path that we are willing. We are saying these things because they are hard. So as we are saying that, ujikumbushe ukishindwa kuifanya kama hao watu wote wanakosanga kuifanya, inamaanisha ni ngumu. You're not saying it because it's easy. Ingekuwa rahisi, karibu kila mtu angeifanya. That's what I wanted to say.
I have a story that not a story, it's actually something that happened to me. Now when I was in second year, like not second year, 1.2, first year semester 2. Now venye ukiwa hapa venye unasotanga like unapiga budget ya so wiki mzima. So I started realizing how can I make money so that I don't, because I'm over 18 at that time, that I can be financially independent. Now I started thinking, then nikaanza to think about business idea, nikaona capital ni issue. So I went to gambling. So nikapiga research, nikaenda kwa Betway. Betway has many issues like email nini. Nikajiregister. Now I've said this is the business opportunity yenye nataka investing. So I started gambling. At that time, the minimum for betting was 49 bob. So na withdraw minimum yenye unaweza withdraw ni 80 bob. So like Monday, like nimetumiwa do like 500. Yeah, maybe push mpaka Wednesday or mpaka Friday ndio nitumie another cash. So I started in now. At that time I was investing now in my money so that ndio hata nikitumia 500 nikuwa like I don't need that year 500. Ninaitaka lakini they don't know like I have money. So nikaanza kubet like I was very careful because it is an investment according to me at that time. So I'd bet with that 49 bob. Then na bet like one game ama somebody to score like a happen. So I can say like during that time I had a lot of money because my investment was working. But later now I started getting greedy, like I'm doing 2 and they are doing okay. Imagine if I did 10. Na zote zikam through. So I'd be having a lot of money. So at first when I was maybe, let's say I was like I need this cash na I have some things I want to do na staki ni rely a lot on my parents. It was working until maybe semester ikaenda kuisha ndio ikakuja kuisha and I eventually left it. But I can say I had discipline at that time. Now my point was gambling, betting is considered kakitu mbaya, si ndio? But I can say at that time when I talk about mental health, it's when you control maybe the physical emotion, something like that. Now, to me, that's why I want to get the clarification. That bad thing, when it is under control, does it become a mental illness? Now, that was my question. Okay, I think what I was trying to say, for me when I was gambling, for me it was working. I was seeing it as a good thing and it was paying dividends. It's like, let's say someone is taking alcohol, but they know alcohol is bad, but they have a diary. They know I drink alcohol, but I cannot take past this amount. Then I can say, the question I had me, is it possible to have discipline in a vice? Like,
Okay, just to answer, I hope I'm not, my answering does not block these people from, I wanted them to participate first. So let's give them an opportunity and then I'll talk about what he's saying.
Yeah, I think according to me, you said you were disciplined, all that's good, but you are a human being, and gambling is gambling. One day, yeah, it seems you went ulikuwa in a short period. When your greed came, ukakat. But now the problem comes when you umesema tu, one bet is not enough. I need like 2 teams. Now you need 2 teams. You place 3 teams. 49 bob is not enough. Let me place 10,000. Now the 10,000 goes. That's now where the mental disorder comes in. That's where now you fall into a state that you cannot recover because it is 1 week to exam. You use the 10,000 you are supposed to pay for the exams. Now tell me. You see that situation itakufanya. Now greed overcame. Ama greed iliingilia katikati. Because we are human beings. You can control yourselves at different situations. So I think sometimes kuna discipline, but the nature of a human changes.
On betting, it has got 2, mental effects. One, just like they said, that addiction. One, with betting you'll be addicted, yeah. Then 2, remember by the time you put a bet, you'll be waiting. That anxiety of winning or losing. We said anxiety comes with depression. You'll be like, I'm going to lose. So that anxiety is also illness. Mental illness. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? No, hii betting inaguza watu. Is that okay? And then I think
Me I think ni kitu kama agreed because mi nilianza kubeti kitambo sana, sema like maybe in high school, so nafika mahali unawasha, but ukikaa kidogo unaona watu wana bet na vitu zinaingiana vizuri, but ikifika time the shit happens. So me I believe it's a kind of great because at the end of the day unapata mtu anakuuliza ukipata 100k what will you do with it? 100k huwezi pata hivyo hivyo, like unaweza pata umeplace bet maybe na 5 bob, kwa sababu unaambia kama 50k hauwezi kataa because maybe by luck when you jamaa alikuwa anaangukia unaweza angukia. So according to me it's kind of an addiction na I think wacha inateka a lot because mi mpaka sasa bado na gamble and mi sioni effect kubwa on my side, so it's just a kind of addiction, I would say so.
Well, okay, I think just as he has finished by saying, gambling is an addiction. And anything addictive, you risk losing control over that behavior. You'll control it for some time, but there comes a time you lose the control. And once you lose the control, then you need to be helped. He has just said that, let's say we got 50 bob, next time we get 100 bob, next time we get 10,000. So you see that eagerness to get more. And at first you may control, you may say, I will not spend more than 100 on gambling. But after some time, you lose control and you gamble everything. And gambling is very common amongst college and university students in Kenya. I remember a very close person to me, alikuwa second year in a university, akadanganya wazazi, anaambia kwamba kuna hii project akapewa 10k. I think it sank. After some time akasema kuna biashara ninataka kuanza, so that after some time I'll not rely on you to give me pocket money. Akachukua another 10k, that's 20k, zikapotea. So later on now, he got depressed because now one, he has lost all the money. I think he started by small monies and he was gaining. But now when it came big money, he lost. So I must say, one, I can't stop you from gambling, but it's very risky. Gambling is addictive. See, even that advert says that. Gambling is addictive. Because they are by law, they are told to make sure that they announce that bit. Just like when they're announcing beer. You wanasema beer ni don't sell under 18, and wakiwa wanauza sigara wanasema yeah, so that rider by law you must put it there because of the risks involved, so that when the person becomes addicted, atambia si tulisema bwana, yeah, the addiction is betting is addictive. On the other thing, there's something that he asked, or him or another said, do you do what is right, or do you do what is good? Do you want to be perfect, or do you want to be happy? These are two things that they're like two sides of a coin. For example, if I ask all of you here, do you want to be perfect, or do you want to be happy? Happy. Do you want to do things that are good, or do you want to do things that are right? Some things are right, but they are not good. Some things are good, but they are not right. Some things are good, but they are not right. Some things make you happy, but they are not right, or they are not. See, being right is being approved. Sindio? Watu wakubali kwamba ni vizuri. Mambo mengi ambayo yanakubaliwa na watu wengi, kwenda ikawa wewe as an individual, they're not good to you, or they don't make you happy. And that's why we started by saying, one, you have to zero in on your life goal. What is your life goal? When you achieve your life goal, it makes you happy. It might not be right, but it makes you happy. Now, when you are setting your life goal, it is within a societal parameter. By the way, what you think is right and wrong is because the society has approved. Sindio? What is wrong in Africa might not be right, wrong in America. Am I right?
True.
So there's a lot of societal approval. If you do psychology, there's the ego, and the superego. Now, in the superego, then you come to what other people approve, people around you. But the id is you, and each one of us has a very strong id. The id, what is right for me? What gives me pleasure? When you are very young, all of us, and you wanted to feed, did you care whether your mother is in the church or in a funeral? That is the id. And basically, all of us are there to some extent. And then you reach a stage now, yes, you want that pleasure, but because of societal approval, you don't want to do it. That is why there are very many things you and me have done under the cover of darkness. But when the darkness goes away, we don't want to do them. We pretend to be very good. Sindio? Why does pretense come about, and yet some of that pretense is hurting us inside? Even at family level, at community level, there are children, there are family members who are suffering because they are struggling to please other people. Yet what they are doing does not please them themselves. And it causes people depression. Or you see somebody pretending, and you know very well, this is not how he is, this is not how she is. And she's making you part of that pretense, and you happen to know the truth, and it eats you up. So you begin by one, knowing who you are and what you want out of life before you start pleasing other people. Otherwise, very many people are in depression because they are carrying the whole world around them, because they want to be right instead of being happy. You have to distinguish that. And that's why somebody was talking about being envious. Why should you be envious? My friend has said, a classmate is in New York, a national star, or now international star. Yeah, you don't have to be envious. You just need to know your life, your life. You borrow the best of what they have, and you struggle to be better. You might not be a star internationally, but there's something that can make you happy wherever you are. Two, you have to know that whatever station of life in life you are, is somebody ahead of you, is somebody behind you. And then today, or as we are in this TTU, this setup, probably 10 years from now, we shall be in different stations in life. That should not make us envious. Should not. You know, you remember, you people came the other day. There was our first vice chancellor here, called Professor Hamadi Idiboga. You have heard of him? He was a PS in agriculture before the last election, where he wanted to be governor. He used to be my classmate. The way he used to be like this, and the whole time I used to beat him in class. You know, but that should that be now be sad and gloomy just because Hamadi is now a professor, he's now a PS, and then I die out of depression? There's no need. If anything, my interaction with him helps me. You know, there are ways he can help. There are ways he can fix my attitude. So don't ever feel useless, and don't ever feel too beaten to stand up again. Because depression comes from when you continuously meditate about what you can't do. It continues recurring in your mind about your inability to stand and your ability to overcome. Make sure that you always tap the best in you so that it gives you strength to overcome the weaknesses. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. But each one of us has some strength, which probably other people whom you think are successful do not have. After all, the definition of success should be more defined by yourself, not by the outside world. Ukiona mtu ameenda holiday Malindi with a boyfriend or with a girlfriend, does that mean they are more successful? And you have your girlfriend or boyfriend umeenda naye gate. Umeenda naye gate pale kombe. Unamnunulia strong tea. Yes. Na yule anaenda Malindi amemnunulia dawa. And your girlfriend or boyfriend is happy. Do you think they are happier than you? No. You measure it yourself. So sometimes we keep because of social media, we keep our mind is so much filled, sometimes flooded with the wrong images that make us judge ourselves negatively. You are a star wherever you are, so long as you don't lose track of what you want out of life. To answer him now, mental illness and disorders. Mental illness is a sickness. It's not as common, but disorders are very common. Addiction to sex, addiction to which other thing are you addicted to? Eating, yeah. They are eating disorders. Yeah. There are people who are eating. They're common. Yeah. Eating disorders are very. There are those who eat too much. There are those who eat little. There's bulimia, where you eat and then you even want to throw up because you think it's going to add too much weight in some parts of your body. And then there are those who eat and eat and eat. They don't know that they are overeating. You know, it's a disorder. And most of the time, if you go to a psychologist and you explore, the psychologist does exploration, it could be an issue or a background problem which is making you eat less or eat too much. There could sometimes it's aggression. You are eating because you are aggressive, and that aggression is the energy is misdirected. So yeah, so disorders are more common. Mental illnesses are less, but mental illnesses are more common. Disorders sometimes can be temporary or can be less. They are moderate. So I think that's all I can say. Yes. You're asking a question? Yes.
So, like, can someone get to a point where they understand that they are having a I don't want to call it mental illness because it's someone who has just gotten to a point where they understand that they are not good mentally, and then they decide to deal with it positively. And can that get to that point?
Yeah, most of the disorders can deal with them positively.
By the person themselves.
Yes, there's a lot that you can do on self-therapy. You heal yourself. Yeah, you heal yourself. Even when you get a therapist, they'll help you to heal yourself. They'll give you ways on how to deal with yourself so that you get self-healing. Yeah.
So, our brains are developed in a way that as in habits is the daily thing you do. So, if for example you're learning self-discipline, you need to establish self-discipline is hard. It's generally hard, but you need to find something ya kujireward at the end of the day. So if it's an addiction, you need to learn to. It's like tricking your brain to learn a different thing. So if you are addicted to taking alcohol at certain, like nakunywa saa 2, nakunywa saa 6, niko na hizo times, una change hizo times to other things that make you happy, because addiction is the dopamine levels in your brain, that the happiness hormone in your brain. So you need to find something else that makes you happy to change that. Okay, so even when you're learning habits, you need to find something in your brain that makes you happy doing that. For example, those people that work out, if you're working out with the they have this thing, and I'm working out challenge, maybe after 10 days for flat tummy, for example, after a week nitaona. So there's this thing you're looking forward to. Okay, so you're tricking your brain to hold on a little bit longer till your time ifike. So if you do that with your addiction, pia your brain itaona we need to hold on a little bit longer. For example, if I used to drink every single day and siku hizi kaa nilikuwa nakunywa nini chupa tatu, nimeanza kunywa mbili, because you just don't stop once. Nilikuwa nakunywa chupa tatu, siku hizi nakunywa mbili, and juu nakunywa mbili najireward na nini, maybe every Saturday nitakuwa najipeleka out, you know, so your brain is happy, inangoja siku tutapelekwa out, so itakuwa inakwambia, utakuwa unaenda kunywa hizo chupa tatu na no, but we need to, there's something else we're looking forward to. Okay, even when you daily habits nini, there's something you need to trick your brain to have something you're looking forward to, and that way by the time una realize utakuwa usha adapt. It's just 2 months, your brain itakuwa ishazoea. Yeah, so if it's kuamka asubuhi 6, ukiamka daily looking forward to something, itafika point have kuamshwa na alarm, itakuwa tu akili inaruka, it's a new day, we wake up. If it's drug addiction, hadi your body is like, nah, we don't need that, you know, we're looking forward to something else. It's just tricking your brain.
And are there levels to it? I feel like you're speaking from a point of where I can deal with it myself. So when it gets to a point where you can't deal with it yourself, a point where you find yourself the same place.
Okay, there's normally a relapse in every addiction treatment. There's relapse. Now, causes, you have to identify the causes of relapse. As she has said, the reward system. If the reward system fails, then you relapse. Because what causes you to be in that addiction is because it is satisfying, it's some pleasure. So you replace the reward system with something else. Actually, it's a replacement of the reward system so that you still get some pleasure, but avoid this behavior that is negative. Now, if this fails, then you go back there. It's a brain disease, so you need to be very careful with what makes you fail. For example, if you're addicted and you go to a rehab center, you are told even the smell of alcohol will make you relapse because the brain will start having cravings. And when you have cravings, you lose control. It goes by instinct, not by intellect, you know? So you always have a reward system that makes you feel the pleasure, the replacement pleasure that would have been with the negative behavior until when you get accustomed to this one, and then you are done. You need to get somebody to see you through, to get somebody to mentor you, to help you until you get trust.
Is there a timeline?
Depends on the severity of the addiction, depends on the type of addiction, depends on your personality. Because the different people, you know, we are unique. We are not the same in any way. When you're dealing with the things to do with the brain, we are unique. The way one response is not the same, the other one responds. There could be similarities, but not the same. Even the dosage